Zechariah 8. Again, the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith the Lord, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age, and the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, saith the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country. I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, let your hands be strong, ye that hear in these days these words by the mouth of the prophets, which were in the day that the foundation of the house of the Lord of hosts was laid, that the temple might be built. For before these days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast, neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the affliction. For I set all men every one against his neighbor. But now I will not be unto the residue of this people as in the former days, saith the Lord of hosts. For the seed shall be prosperous, the vine shall give her fruit, and the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their dew. And I will cause the remnant of this people to possess all these things. And it shall come to pass that as ye were a curse among the heathen, O house of Judah, and house of Israel, so will I save you, and ye shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, as I thought to punish you when your fathers provoked me to wrath, saith the Lord of hosts, and I repented not. So again have I thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem, and to the house of Judah. Fear ye not. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his own brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. All right. So what I want to get into today, all right, is a continuation on the book of Daniel. All right, we made to the 8th chapter, and this is another one of Daniel's visions. Okay, you know, Daniel, like I say, that Daniel was a heavy prophet, man. You know, he was a heavy man in Israel. You know, beloved. You know, of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. You know, and like I say, it's good to go into the history of our forefathers, and you know, it's the spirit. You know, Daniel was in the Neo-Babylonian Empire. All right, and we're in the daughter of Babylon. You know, and Daniel seen Babylon fall. All right, now it wasn't okay. The destruction spoken of in Jeremiah, letting you know that it was speaking of another Babylon. All right, but he's seen it fall. He's seen the transition of kingdoms. Okay, so I'll say this is a pretty intense book. It got heavy. Daniel had a heavy portion of prophecy. Some good history to know, and we're just going to get into it. All right, so let's get straight into Daniel 8:1. Okay, it's the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verses 1. And I entitled it "The Wicked Root." All right, dealing with the demon. All right, Antiochus Epiphanes, which we'll get into it. Now, this is Daniel 8:1. It says, "In the third year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I saw at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river Ulai. And I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had two horns. Okay, and this ram is symbolic, okay, of the Medo-Persian Empire. Those two horns. All right, one horn representing the Medes and one of Persia. Okay, so he's going to describe these two horns, which is going to describe, what will happen, between, this kingdom. Okay, and it says, and the two horns, all right, were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Okay, because the Medes, was all right, was already, on the scene. All right, and Persia was a vassal to the Medes. Okay, so the Medes came first. They had pretty much ties with the other dominant kingdoms. All right, because remember Astyages was married to one of the daughters of Lydia. Was Lydia, modern day Turkey, was a rich empire at the time. Okay, and then Nebuchadnezzar was married, all right, to one of the princesses, okay, of the Medes. Okay, so the Medes was already, intermingled, all right, with the powerful kingdoms. All right, Persia didn't have no ties with those kingdoms. Persia was just a vassal, under the Medes. Okay, but through Cyrus, all right, which we talked about yesterday, Cyrus absorbed the throne. He inherited the throne of Astyages, which was a Medianite king. Okay, and then he got the throne of the Persians from his father Cambius. Okay, so the Persians, all right, was elevated above the Medes. It came up higher at the last. Okay, but the Medes came first. So this is what Daniel was seeing. It said, verse 4 says, and I saw. Well, this is explaining, what Daniel was seeing. And it says, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward. All right. And this was the Persian Empire expanding, because it came from the east. Okay. But it expanded its borders westward, northward, and southward. Okay. So that no beast might stand before him, which is any other nation. All right. Because the Lord likened these nations, heathens, unto beasts. These heathen empires, are likened unto beasts. Okay. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. And ultimately, the Lord, see, when prophecy is with you, you're unstoppable, man. Okay. When prophecy is on your side, you're unstoppable. Okay. And it was time for the Persians to rule, and there was nothing in the earth that could be done about it. Now, remember what was told to Joshua. Okay. I think Joshua, the first chapter, so it's the Lord, that's behind, all right, a nation of people dominating the earth. Okay. Now this is Joshua 1:6. It says then this is all right. Yeah, Joshua 1:6. It says, be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide an inheritance, the land which I swear unto their fathers to give them. And this is before, Joshua began his campaign, and the armies of Israel, okay, into the promised land. Okay. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. Okay, it says, have I not commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be dismayed, for the Lord thy power is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Okay, I think it might be in verse 4. Uh, verse 5. All right. Yep, this is the point I want. Okay. If I might start at 1 and read into it. All right, this is Joshua 1 and 1. It says, now after the death of Moses, the servant, all right, of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, so this is pretty much the Lord, all right, exhorting Joshua, all right, giving him his command, giving him the mindset he should be in, all right, as the leader of the Lord's army in the earth, okay, which are the sons of Israel. Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. So the land was already Israel before a battle was fought. The Lord had already determined. He said, whatever your foot tread on is going to be yours. Okay? So everything is in the hand and the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. No man can boast. Okay? Only thing man can do is what the Lord allows them to do. Okay? What's already his will. You see? It says, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even to the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your coast. So he's, before a war is even fought, he's telling him his coast, okay, your borders, all right, because the Lord already determined it. You see, verse 5, it says, there shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. Okay? So no one was able to stand before Joshua and the children of Israel, the sons of Israel, okay? Because the Lord had ordained it. You see? Just like we read here in Daniel, no one was able to be delivered from the Persians because it was already ordained. Remember Daniel, okay, had a vision in chapter 7, okay, about the Persians, the Medo-Persian Empire coming in power, so it's already ordained in the heavens, man. Okay, so you read Daniel 8 and 4, and I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Okay, and this was told to Joshua when it was time for us to inherit that land. Okay. Neither would, and if a brother could, I think that's Second Maccabees. Okay, the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 7, I believe, verse 43 and 44. You might put 42. Not Second Maccabees, Second Esdras. Been reading Maccabees. Second Esdras, chapter 7, verses 42 through 44. They go into it too. But reading on. All right. So it says, and as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face, all right, of the whole earth. Okay. And touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes, man. Okay, so this is the Greeks under who? Alexander, this notable horn. Okay, and it says he touched not the ground because Alexander conquered swiftly. You know, he absorbed the Persian Empire swiftly, man. You know, as if it was like, you know, you see a cheetah running, it's almost like their feet is not even touching the ground. Okay, and you go into a leopard, which the Greek Empire was described by a leopard. Well, a leopard has the highest kill count of all the different of the cat family, man. Okay, and the Lord raised Alexander, okay, of the Greeks, you know, to be a notable horn. Okay, so this reputation that Alexander has is because the Lord was using him as a tool. Okay, you know, Esau loves to boast, you know, Alexander. Well, he was a tool. All right, let's get this word notable. You know, what you going to it in the uh let's see, is it Kazawa? All right, in the Hebrew. Okay, let's say I don't think it give us nothing. Yep, it don't give us much. All right, well, you just do a definition search on the word notable. All right, yep, notable. You know, just on quick Google. All right, it says worthy of attention or notice, remarkable, outstanding, important, significant, okay, memorable, okay, marked, striking, okay, impressive. All right, and Alexander had a very impressive run, you know, as that notable horn. Okay. Yes, lucky. Knock myself out. Yep, but he was a notable horn because of he was a tool for prophecy, man. Okay, he has a legacy, you know, one of the greatest, you know, commanders and generals. All right, but the Lord does that. What was told to King David? Let's get that. All right, let's get this. Daniel 7. I mean, 2 Samuel 7, and all right, this is 2 Samuel 7 and 8. It says, "Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David." This is Nathan. You know, this is, you know, he's coming to give him, you know, the answer about David. He wanted to build a temple, okay, for the Lord. You know, with the Lord was like, nah, your hands, you too bloody. You know, you too defiled with blood. You know, so he was like, I'm get your son to build it. So he goes into this. You know, he's going to go into that prophecy dealing with King Solomon. You know, and Yahushua. Okay, ultimately Yahushua. But so this is on Nathan, you know, responding, you know, to King David. 2 Samuel 7 8 said, "Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep to be ruler, okay, over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight." Okay, so the Lord is these wars, and it's the Lord is orchestrating this, man. Okay, it's moving the pieces, man, knocking pieces off the board. The Lord is doing all this, man, and have made thee a great name. Okay, like unto the name of the great men that are in all the earth, man. Okay, and you go into his word name in the Hebrew, which is Shum. All right, which when you go into it. Okay, so it's the Lord that allowed men to have a name, a legacy. Okay, that's why it's called Alexander with a notable horn, because what the Lord is going to use him for. So you go to the word Shum, okay, in the Hebrew, all right, which is what? Name, all right, reputation, fame, glory, okay, memorial, a monument, okay. So hey, Daniel, he's seeing, this notable horn that was speaking of Alexander that would emerge from the Greek Empire, man, which he inherited, from his father, all right, because his father, Philip II, he was planning to invade Persia, his father was a conqueror, all right, so Alexander was bred, then he was tutored, by Aristotle, okay, which was a Jake, and he was bred to be a general from his father, which was a conquering general. He, uh, uh, um, he pretty much uh, formed what you call the Hellenic League. Okay, you go into Alexander father, what you call the Hellenic, let me see, Hellenic League. Okay, I can pull it up real quick. All right. Because you go into it. Let me see. Let's give us some in Wikipedia. Would you go into the Hellenic League? So it just goes into, the League of Greek city states, and it was first formed, to combat the Persians. Okay, it was first formed to combat the Persians, during the Greek, all right, Persian wars. Okay, so Philip II, became the head of the league. All right, and when he died, Alexander became the head. Okay, so he inherited the military for his purpose. All right, that we're reading about, and he inherited a league, all right, of Greek city states and their armies, to fulfill his purpose in prophecy, man. Okay, so let's go here to go back to Daniel. All right, so let's go back to Daniel 8, and in 5 it says, and as I was considering, behold, an he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn, all right, between his eyes. Okay, going back to Alexander, and he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. Okay, because when when Alexander, he had to go east, from from Macedonia, so he came from the east. I mean, he came from the west going east, and he ran head first into their ram. It was one battle, all right, at the battle of the river of Ganius, if I'm pronouncing it right. But Alexander, he was told to wait, before he crossed the river. Okay, they wanted him to wait, but he rejected the counsel of his commanders. All right, and he charged across the river early, and kind of caught the Persians off guard, in their first battle. So the first battle, you see that the spirit was on him just to charge forward. All right. And what they did, they bought time, for the rest of his army to cross, because if his army would have crossed at one time, you know, he would have suffered a lot of casualties, man. So he went, with a portion of his army first, okay, and started battle with the Persians to buy time for the rest of his military to cross, the Ganges River. Okay. So hey, these prophecies are deadly accuracy, man. Deadly accurate, man. Okay. So hey, he charged forth, man. Okay. And yeah, he ran into him with great power. And it was the power of Yahweh Bashim al Shah that was behind this military campaign for prophecy to be fulfilled. And I saw, all right, him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram and break his two horns, the Medo-Persian Empire, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him. Okay, so just as the Lord can turn you up or you unstoppable, he can turn you down and you be weak as water. You see, it's all according to what the Lord wants, man. It said, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. You see, there was none that can deliver the ram out of his hand, because you go here in the book of Psalms, what does it say? 33. So there was nothing that the Medo-Persian Empire can do, even though it was wealthy, it was vast, it had, large militaries. It was nothing they could do, okay, to stop from being conquered by the Greeks. Okay, just like there's nothing that Esau Edom can do that's going to stop him from being conquered by Yahushua. Okay, nothing that these heathens can do, and I'm all into, the military hardware, the weaponry, this rocket do this and this missile do that. All right, but that shit ain't gonna matter, man. When Yahushua crack them clouds, man. Okay, so you go to Psalms 33 and 16, it said, there is no king saved by the multitude of hosts. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength, and horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Okay, because the Persian had way more cavalry, way, more personnel, way more resources than the Greeks. Okay, but prophecy wasn't with them anymore. All right, it says, behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and keep them alive in famine. Oh, our soul waited for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. Okay, so we know the times that we're coming in. All right, Esau doesn't have the last say so, dealing with the elect, man. Okay, it's what the Lord wants. Okay, and we read plenty of scriptures say we're gonna be good, even in death. Okay, we're gonna be straight, man. Even in death, you die in your house shot, that's still the winning ticket. So yeah, man, the strength of these heathens is a non-factor when it comes to the prophecy of Yahweh Bashim al Shah. I just thought about this in Samuel as well. Let's get this in First Samuel. Okay, I believe this is Samuel's mother, giving thanks to the Lord. Yep, this is Hannah's song of thanksgiving. Our foremothers was of a different breed, man. Okay, we're thinking about no goddamn Birkin bag. Okay, they wanted to see their people win. Okay, it says this First Samuel 2:7 said, the Lord make it poor and make it rich. He bring it low and lift it up. All this is according. I can't say it enough, man. All right, everything, everyone is at the mercy of Yahweh Bashim al Shah. Okay, it's a foolish thing for anyone to boast in anything. All right, he said he raises up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill to set them among princes. Okay, and we're the poor and the beggar that's in the dust. Okay, but at the Lord, in the Lord's will, He's going to set us among princes, man, which is back, okay, in those positions of power, man. All right, princes of the power, and to make them inherit the throne of glory from the pillars of the earth. All right, for the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he have set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. Okay, for by strength shall no man prevail. So it doesn't matter what this devil got. We don't gotta get caught up in all of the he got the DW weapons. Like, he got some things, man, but it don't matter. Okay, because by no strength can any man do anything against Yahweh Shema Shai. All things work for his will, according to his purpose, man. Verse 10, it said, the adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord Yahweh Shema Shai shall judge the ends of the earth, man. Okay, so that's a shot at America. You see, the Lord is always, you read the scriptures, like we in 1 Samuel 2 and 10, and then the Lord just throw a shot out there at America, man, because this the ends of the earth over here in the west. Okay, and he shall give strength unto his king, all right, Yahweh Shai, and exalt the horn of his anointed, all right, the power. Okay, as we're reading about these horns in Daniel, well, there's a horn, all right, in Jacob. Matter of fact, I gotta get that, man. What it's saying in Luke. All right, this is the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68. And it says, blessed be the Lord power of Israel, for he have revisited and redeemed his people, okay, through Yahweh Shai, all right, and have raised up an horn of salvation, a power of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Okay, so we have a power. All right, we have a horse in the race, man. Okay, and that's Yahweh Shai. You see, and the Lord has ordained it for Yahweh Shai to have dominion over everything, man. And there's nothing that can be done about it, man. This is why scriptures say the Lord is laughing at these devils, because these devils are all over the place, man. Tacky as hell with this whole new world order. Tacky as hell, man. You see? Yeah, I think the brother got that for me too. Let me get that. The water for getting that precept for me, brother. This is all right. I started 43, get to the point. Yep. This is on the brother Yaquab, the Hopeful Lake 3. 2 Ezra 7:43 said, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. All right, we're coming to a time of doom. The earth has never possessed these weapons that these nations have. The earth has, has never seen this type of weapons be amassed in the earth, man, waiting to be used. This is the day of doom. Okay, the famine, civil unrest, okay, concentration camps, gun violence, apparition, teeth of wild beasts, leading up to the missiles, man. Okay, this is the time of doom. Okay, it says, and the beginning of immortality for the come, all right, beginning with the elect, man. So the time of doom is the time for, see, one person's doom is another person's immortality, man. Okay. Like, we serve a just and balanced power. It says where corruption is past, intemperance, okay, which is undisciplined, is at an end. Infidelity, which is unbelief, is cut off. Okay, righteousness is grown up, and truth. Okay, let me see that. Yeah, and truth is sprung up. And this the point, verse 45. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed. Okay, all you, because it is you nigger Christians that's trying to save Esau, you can't do nothing about the judgment, man. Okay, you can try to find precepts and try to dress Esau. No, man, ain't nothing you can do. All right, and even in the truth, man, like, ain't nothing we can do for 2/3 of our people that the Lord has predestined for to be destroyed, man. Okay, that's why we not in the business of making an excuse for these niggas, man. The Lord ain't with that, man. You're not gonna. No one can bodyguard whom the Lord is gonna judge, man. Okay, you see, and that's going from people to nations on all scales, man. Okay, it says, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory, man. They can't stop us from being great, man. Okay, Lord will of that number. All right, well they can't. They not gonna be able to stop us from being great, man. Okay, because his whole kingdom is based on, keeping Jake down, especially the Israelite man. But we come to a time, man, well, hey, this system ain't gonna have no rule over us, man. Okay, um, reading on, all right, and it says, verse 8, it says, therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and he was strong. The great horn was broken, all right, which Alexander, like I said, he pretty much absorbed the whole Medo-Persian Empire. Okay, he dominated the earth. You see, he went to Egypt. They made him pharaoh when he went to Egypt. You see, he was having his way. Okay, it says the great horn was broken, and for it came, all right, and there was Alexander dying, because he became king at 20. He died at 32. He did most of his conquering, in around about 8 years, man. Okay, and he went on the campaign, all right, on his run and complete for 12. Okay, that was but in 8 years, man. He absorbed a lot of territory, man. He heaped up a lot of territory to himself, man. Okay, because this was the Lord's will. This was the Lord had it written for him to do it in this fashion, man. Okay, and it says, and he came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven, which are those 4 generals. All right, that eventually, would split up the kingdom. Cassandra, Lysimachus, Seleucid, and Ptolemy. Okay, and it was split up. All right, the kingdom that Alexander, had conquered. All right, after his death, and then their sons after them, would reign in their stead. That's why you have, multiple Ptolemies. Which those are like throne names. Okay, you have different, Lysimachus and Demetrius that will come, from different lines. Cassandra, okay, Seleucus going into Antiochus. It was, multiple Antiochus or Antiochus, however you want to pronounce it. It was multiple, so it's certain ones, you got to pinpoint, and we deal with the ones that, that the Bible, pinpoints. All right. Now this is verse 9. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. And this is speaking of, all right, Antiochus Epiphanes, which I think is the fourth. All right, Antioch the fourth. Okay, so he went toward the south. Okay, which is Egypt. Toward Ptolemy, which you're gonna read, and he went east. Okay, Palestine. Okay, in Syria. All right, and toward the pleasant land, which, all right, was Judea, our land. Okay, so let's get that real quick. We'll go back to Daniel. Let's read. All right, this is let me share screen. This is First Maccabees chapter 1. Get straight to it. Now, when we read, um, when we read the book of First Maccabees, what we have to understand, verse chapter 1, you know, chronologically, it comes after, the first 4 chapters in Second Maccabees, which we'll get into that as well, as we bring down, Antiochus. But so let's just go here now. This is First Maccabees 1:16. It says, now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, all right, which is in the south, okay, that he might have dominion on 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, all right, and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, all right, king of Egypt. So this was him going south. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again, all right, in the 143rd year, and he went up against Israel in Jerusalem with a great, all right, multitude. Okay, with a great multitude. You see? So he went south, all right, and then we spoke about him coming to the pleasant land, all right, and then there's got other histories, him going, into Persia, okay, going to Syria, which is going to the east, but this is what Daniel, seen, all right, this horn that will come up out of the four, because he comes from the Seleucid, all right, empire, the Seleucid line, which was one of those 4 horns, but then you have this horn and Antiochus that was spoken of. All right, and he will come and wild out, man. You see, and it says, and he entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof, and the tables of showbread and the pouring vessels and the veils and the censer of gold, the veil, and the crowns and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. Okay, so he just went in the temple and started spoiling, man. Okay, and this is just the beginning. All right, but here it is. He thought to reign, over Egypt, that he might have dominion over 2 realms. He wasn't satisfied, and this nigga got the biggest portion of the kingdom. Let me show you, man. Like scriptures say, they can never have enough. We pulled it up yesterday, but just to show you. All right, this nigga here, man. Okay, um, see, pull up the map again. Okay, but they show you today too. That these devils, they're fighting. They're gonna fight. Okay, again. All right, they're gonna fight over this kingdom. Okay, let's see if we can. So yeah, let me pull this up. Let y'all see. So here it is. Like I say, Antiochus Epiphanes came out of the Seleucid Empire. So when you look at the map of how the kingdom was carved up, okay, here it is. This is the Seleucid Empire in the green. So this nigga got all of this, man. Okay, this nigga, compared, because you can barely see, you know, Cassander and Lasamegis, which they was over here, okay, more towards, Macedonia, okay, in the west. All right, and you really can't even see, their little portion. But this nigga got all this, man. And he like, man, I want Egypt too, man. A damn nigga, man. You see? So you think these devils are getting along up top, man? You know they under eyeing each other, man. Look at, got different plays, but this is how these devils do. Okay, here it is. He got all this in the green, but he wanted to go south, okay, into Egypt, okay, and east, all right, into the Palestine, Syria, and then go into Jerusalem, man. Okay, nigga can never have enough. So let's go back here. Um, we'll go back to Daniel. All right, in Daniel 8 and 10, and it says, "And it was great." Speaking of Antiochus, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Okay, and these stars, all right, is speaking of Israel. Okay, because he committed slaughters against our people, man. Okay, and it's proved that those stars are speaking of Israel. I believe that's in Genesis 37. All right, and 9. All right, now this is a dream that Joseph had. All right, concerning his brethren, his mother and father. This Genesis 37. I mean, his father and mother. Genesis 37 and 9 says that he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, "Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obedience to me." Pretty much, they bowed to him. And it came true when Joseph, they sold Joseph. Well, they put him in the pit. Okay, and the Midianites came and found him and sold him to the Egyptians. Okay, and he rose up, to the second in power. Okay, in Egypt, and there was a famine in the land, and his brothers, and they came and they bowed. They didn't know who it was at the time. Okay, but they had to come for food. They came and bowed. But Joseph had that dream. But the point is, you go into the dream, the sun being his father, the moon his mother, okay, and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. Those his brethren, showing you, and these are the progenitors of the tribes, his brethren, him and his brethren, okay. So those stars represent Israel, and the Antiochus, stamped out, and we'll read about it. Okay, when you go back to First Maccabees, the sun and the moon, they show you that a man, and a woman, they're supposed to complement each other. All right, is the sun and moon at war? Okay, or do they balance each other out? Just throw that out there. All right. Let's go back to First Maccabees. All right, and there's plenty of accounts. All right, you're gonna touch and go on some things. This is Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41 said, "Moreover, King, all right, Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his law, so that all the heathen agreed, okay, to the commandment of the king." And this is what they want. Okay, they want the earth under the Greek order. All right, just like today, the Esau wants the earth under their Greco-Roman order, man. Okay. It says, "Yeah, many also the Israelites conceded to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up altars, groves, and chapels of idols, sacrifice swine's flesh, and the unclean beast, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever should not do according to the commandment of the king, he should die. In the self same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the city of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them to it, every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. Okay, so you had a lot of our people and that was with it, and it was under the punishment of death. But you had our people that wasn't with it. All right, we're gonna get into that, and drove the Israelites into secret places and whatsoever they could find secure. So our people that wanted, to keep the law, all right, they went into hiding. Okay, so this is when this devil, all right. Matter of fact, let me stop there. Okay, but these things were punishable by death. I'm gonna read Daniel some more, and then we'll continue on with that. Because he's gonna break down the rest. All right, so you go here, Daniel 8 and 11 says, yeah, he magnified himself to the prince of hosts, all right, which is the high priest, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Okay, he said to magnify himself, to the prince of the host, because you go into the history, Jason Ananias was the priest and he was righteous. Okay, and matter of fact, let's just get there real quick. And second Maccabees, get to the point. All right, because we're gonna read, because as we're reading now, he put a decree, that made it unlawful to do, the daily sacrifice, what you had that morning and evening sacrifice, man. Okay, so let's go to Maccabees. Let's go to the second, and remember this. All right, second Maccabees chapter 1-4. What's happening before. First Maccabees chapter 1. Okay, because by the time you get to first Maccabees chapter 1, Ananias, is not mentioned because they, had killed them off. They removed him from the high priest, all right, and put Jason up. Okay, and then Jason got underhanded by a Benjamite, so while Antiochus was king, they had the Benjamite as high priest, man. Okay, so he pretty much had the high priest in his pocket once they got Ananias out the way. Okay, now, all right, so remember this is before, first Maccabees 1-1. So this second Maccabees 4-7 says, but after the death of Seleucus, all right, which was one of the kings from the Seleucid lines, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Ananias, labored underhand to be his priest. Okay, so when Antiochus took over, all right, Jason, because Ananias had favor, even amongst the Greeks. They dealt with Ananias, and he was honest. He kept things in order. He pushed righteousness amongst the people, because Jake, they get to keep their law, and Jake gonna chill. You see, and Ananias, he was a righteous high priest, but his brother, okay, he preferred the way of the Greeks. All right, and Antiochus played into that. It says, promising unto the king by intercession 303 score talents of silver, and another revenue 8 talents. besides this, so these niggas was paying to be the high priest, man. Okay, let's say he Antiochus, Antiochus, he magnified himself to the prince of hosts. These niggas, the high priest, okay. Jake, these Levites started kissing his ass, man. Okay, it said besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set up a place for exercise and for the training of the youth into the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. Okay, so he wanted Jake to call themselves, all right, after this nigga, man. Just like today, as we call ourselves African Americans, those are two Edomites. Okay, Africano, Leo Scipio Africanus, which was a Roman general during the Punic Wars with Hannibal, okay, in Carthage, all right, which Africa is named after him, you see. And then you have Amerigo Vespucci, which is an Italian map maker, Edomite, okay. He was the first one to put America on the standard map. You have that phrase, I put such and such on the map. Well, he put America, on the map. He was a map maker, So you call yourself an African American, you calling yourself out the two Edomites, man. There's new thing under the sun. And this is what Jason wanted Jake to call himself some goddamn Antiochians, man. Okay? Tripping. You see? So when you get down, just to show you that these niggas, all right, was in his pocket, the priesthood, he had the priesthood in his pocket. Okay, and this is what's going to lead to that rebellion. Okay, and that what they call the Maccabean revolt, what historians call it. All right, it says now when Apollonius, this is Second Maccabees 4:21. Now Apollonius, the son of Manasteus, was sent unto Egypt for the coronation of King Ptolemy Philometor. All right, Philometor. All right, and Antiochus, understanding him not to be well affected to his affairs, provided for his own safety, whereupon he came to Joppa, and from thence to Jerusalem, where he was honorably received of Jason and of the city, and was brought in with torchlight and with great shoutings, and so afterward went with the host unto Phoenice. Okay, so Jason was just kissing this man's ass, man. Worshiping this nigga basically, man. You see? And it said, now 3 years afterward, Jason sent Menelaus, all right, the foresaid Simon's brother, to bear the money unto the king and to put him in mind of certain necessary matters. But he being brought to the presence of the king, when he had magnified him, you see that? When he had magnified him, okay, for the glorious appearance of his power, oh man. It said got the priesthood to himself. So he went, here it is, Jason sent this nigga with the money, all right, to Antiochus to go pay him what he owed him for, to be the high priest. So he sent Menelaus, which this is a Benjamite. He sent this guy, and Menelaus undercut Jason, man. So that's why Yahweh, and you got to remember, the scribes and Pharisees came from this, man. This is why the high priest office was what became a political office by the time Yahweh Shai was on the scene, man. This is what these niggas was doing. Okay? They looked at the high priest office as a political office, man. All right? They didn't want to be the high priest to forward righteousness among Jake. They wanted to be a high priest for status. They seen how the Romans was doing it, the Greeks was doing it, these other kingdoms, and these high priests wanted to be kings, man. Okay? They want. That's why Yahweh Shai said, look, he that is greatest among you, let him be as one that serveth. Onias was a servant. Okay? And we see this same behavior today, man, amongst Jake, man. Okay? But you had Jake being grimy with the priesthood, We say he got the priesthood to himself, offering more than Jason by 300 talents of silver. So these niggas was bidding for the high priest office, man. All right. They said when he had magnified him. So you go back to Daniel. What did it say? All right, this is Daniel 8 and 11 said, yeah, he magnified himself to the prince of hosts, okay, which is the high priest, okay, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary, all right, was cast down, you know, as we were reading, okay, and First Maccabees, we're gonna go back to it, and it says, and the host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Okay, and you go to their history. All right, what did Jason do? He began building places of exercise. Okay, gyms. You know, they was actually working out naked. So Hellenism prospered. All right, the Hellenization of our people prospered under Antiochus Epiphanes, man. He played a major part in our people being Hellenized, man. Okay, and we did read a little more history on that. So let's go back to the Maccabee. Let's see, we jumping back and forth. So let's go back to Maccabee chapter 2. Not Maccabees 1. Okay. Matter of fact, I need to read Daniel because it's gonna go into all of it. So let me read Daniel 8 and 13, and then we're gonna go into the history and expound on all of it. You know. So this is Daniel 8 and 13. It said, then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, okay, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? You know, so this is one angel talking to another, and this is what Daniel was hearing the conversation. And the angel, how long, you know, is the devil gonna be able to do this, man? You know, and it says, and he said unto me, unto 2,000, all right, in 300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Okay, and before I go into the accounts in Maccabees, I want to play this. All right, I found that I was listening to this, which is El Apostle Yomlot. He was breaking it down. Okay, you know, I'm gonna let him explain it because he pretty much sums it up. You know, and then we'll get some accounts on it. All right, so I think this is him and the elder brother Damasha Pot out of Indiana. Okay, so let this play.
8 and verse 13 now. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot?
Right, these are the angels speaking. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
Right, so the 2,300 days is a representation of 6 years and a little more than 4 months. You know, and when you go into the history, Antiochus Epiphanes had power over Israel for 9 years, but from around 170 to around 169 BC, that's when he was plundering, certain riches from Jake in order for his campaigns. You know, so from let's say 170 to about, and then in you have different dates. That's why I said you can't get too caught up into exact dates, because what happens is when you go into those different dates, some of that stuff is approximate. And you go to one source and they'll give you one date. You go to another source, they'll give you another date, which might be a 2 or 3 years off. So we're just, the dates that we get in history to go into the prophecies of the scriptures are estimations or circa. So if you go from 170, right, to when Antiochus Epiphanes died in 164 AD. So from around 170, 169 AD to that time when he was put to death on a campaign was about 6 years and some change. When you do the math, but you're not going to get approximate, to the letter. The Lord said that the Babylonians would rule for 70 years. They ruled for about
Yep. So he went into it, all right, dealing with those 2,300 days, which, like I said, is a little bit over 6 years or 4 months when you go into it. So from the time that he stopped the daily sacrifice, to the time that it was rededicated, all right, under the Maccabees, under Judas, okay, it was around that time of 6 years and 4 months, okay, and we're going to touch on it. So when you go back to the book of Maccabees, all right, and go back to First Maccabees, okay. First Maccabees, chapter 1. Okay, so we go back to where we left off around about 50. All right. So this is when, okay, the daily sacrifice will stop. It gives a date, a date on it. All right. This is First Maccabees 1:54 said, now the 15th day of the month of Caslu in the 145, all right, in 5 year, they set up the abominations of desolation upon the altar, and they builded idols, all right, idol altars throughout the cities of Judah, all right, on every side. Okay. And this is explained more in depth when you go into Second Maccabees, okay, chapter 6. We read that. All right, this is the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 6. So you need to go to it. All right, so this is Second Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 1. It says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their father, not to live by the laws of the Most High. Okay, and these are the same devil that's in power now, man. You look at all these enchantments that's on our people, is all to separate them from the righteousness of the scriptures, man, from the obedience of the scriptures, man. You look at black culture, man, it's nothing but a big rebellion against the order of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, from the diet, all right, to family, okay, everything about it, sex, everything about black culture is a complete rebellion to the order of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man, okay. And it says, verse 2, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call out the temple, all right, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, all right, and that in garrison of Jupiter, defender of strangers, as they did desire, all right, they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in it of this mischief was sore and grievous, okay, to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, man. So they turned the temple into a whole house, man. Lewdness, man. Okay. Set up idols in the temple. Okay. Under this devil, man. You see? And it says, and besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. The altar was filled with profane things which the law forbidden. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Okay? This is why if you don't understand this history, okay, and they took this out because there's no way if you leave this in there and this was taught in the churches, okay, there's a lot of questions, red flags, and questions you will have about the New Testament, man. Okay? And if you don't understand this history, there's no way you can understand the New Testament, man. Okay? So, go back here. First Maccabees 1. All right, and 54, okay, which it gave the time when they stopped, all right, the sacrifice, and that what was going on, chapter 2 Maccabees 6, just kind of went into that more detail of what was going on. All right, this is back in First Maccabees 1 and 54. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar. Okay, they made it, a temple of Jupiter, man, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces and broke, all right, the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. Okay, and what is the devil, getting ready to do with this word now? Okay, he wants to get rid of this word now, showing it's the same people, man. And the Greco-Roman Empire is back, man. Okay, now it strikes, man. Without the wild man, he just gonna do away. The Lord's gonna allow him to bring on that famine of the word. All right, he wants to bring. Esau's ready to bring out. He's ready to set up his idols. Okay, and guess what? The temple is us now. All right, and what idol does he want to put in that temple to see him? You see, nothing new under the sun, man. It says, and wheresoever was found, all right, with any, the book of the testament, or any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now in the 5 and 20th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. Okay, it said the 25th. What was our favorite holiday, man? Goddamn Christmas, man. Okay. It said they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of the most high, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat anything unclean. You still had that remnant, man. Okay? That remnant, always stand stiffly, man. And they said their mind was made. As we spoke about being unmovable. All right? It said, wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there was very great wrath, all right, upon Israel, man. Okay? Well, this is all fulfilling prophecy of Daniel, the 8th chapter, man. How he will stomp out the stars. Okay? So now that's the beginning of those 2,300 days. All right? And what will happen, you go to the next chapter, and you will have particular men, the spirit was on them, all right, to revolt, man. All right, it says, in those days, First Maccabees 2 and 1, those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, all right, a priest of the sons of Horeb from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, all right, Joanna called Cadus, Simon called Thassi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, all right, called is it Ari Aaron, and Jonathan, whose name was Appius. And when he saw the blasphemy that was committed in Judah, all right, in Jerusalem, he said, "Woe is me, wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and the holy city, and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had part in her kingdom and gotten her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she is become a bond slave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his son rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officer and said to Mattathias on this wise, Thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in the city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment. And you see how they like to use Jake with influence, man. Okay? Is which why they prop, these niggas up to set Jake up for failure, man. Even amongst Israel. Okay, there's men popped up with all this, propped up, all right, by the enemy with all this influence to lead Jake to failure, man. Okay, it says, Ye and the men of Judah also, and such as remained at Jerusalem. Okay, and we say, he said, I read it from the top. Said, Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Yeah, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. Okay, he wanted Mattathias to sell out. And he said, look, the heathen have done it, man, and Esau loved to make it seem like you the only one that ain't, and that's how you look at these enchantments that was on our people, man, like they'll have it to where, like, coming up, man, if you wasn't, on the street stuff, if you wasn't, on that culture, you see, it'd be like you the only one that's not on that, man. You'd be shamed for it. If a woman went loose, okay, out here dealing with, doing her thing with different men, like she'd be shamed for it, man. And this is what the devil was trying to do with Mattathias, man. Okay, or you a woman listening to your husband, they try to shame you for that, man. And that's what this culture is about, man, shaming you for righteousness, man. Okay, and there was a time where we played into it, but the Wadi how about Shemal Shah for getting us out that darkness, man. It said, Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant, okay, of our fathers. The Most High forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's word to go from our religion, either, okay, to the right hand or the left. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar. So here it is. He's making a hard stance against wickedness. All right. And as soon as he get through talking, man, a simple nigga walk right past him. Okay? A simple nigga walk right past him while he's speaking. A nigga is coming across his face, man, to do what? Now, we had left speaking these words. There came one of the Jews, in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin, all right, according to the king's commandment. So he sacrificed, swine, okay, to these other gods, okay, right in front of Mattathias. Here it is. He's going on a rant about, the temple losing its glory, okay. Then he's taking a stand firm against, the king's officers about not sacrificing, okay. And then the nigga come wobble his ass right to the altar and sacrifice a swine, man, okay. And this, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back, man. Read verse 24. Which thing, when Mattathias saw it, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment, wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. Okay? So Mattathias snapped out. The spirit was on him, man. Simple nigga walked right past him. Sacrifice. So it said his reins trembled, man. He couldn't hold it, man. He put that nigga to death, man. All right. And then he read verse 25. Also, the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down, man. So he killed that nigga that sacrificed and all the king's officer, man. And that started the Maccabean revolt. Okay, from what Antiochus was doing, Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, so this is within, those 2,300 days. But you go here, let's get to the point. So you can read that, but I just want to get to the point. All right, First Maccabees 4 and 52. Okay, now this is after they won the temple back. They won different battles against the Greeks under Judas. So they won the temple back. All right. So now on the 5 and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning and offered sacrifices according to the law. All right. So the temple was cleansed. Okay. And you can read, okay, this account, you can read the whole chapter. They just had won the battle, and they began to remove things of the temple, all right, which ultimately is spiritual as well, because, as we've awakened to the truth, man, we had to remove things out of our temple, certain character flaws, certain foods and diets, change, different mindsets. We had to cleanse our temple, man, become those new creatures and dedicate ourselves to the Lord again, because we was fouled by idols, man. Westernization is nothing but idols. You worship yourself, you worship women, you worship money, women worship, themselves and certain type of men, attention and clout and, fame, and you see? And we had to, our temple had to be cleansed, man. You see? It says, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offering which they had made. Okay? So that was the end of those 2,300 days, from the time, all right, when Antiochus Epiphanes, stopped the daily sacrifice. Okay? Polluted the temple until the time it was rededicated under Judas, that fulfilled, was cleansed and rededicated, under Judas. Okay. I was saying, you can read all of this, man. Just goes into the cleansing. Matter of fact, let's read verse 41, First Maccabees 4:41, 144. You can't make it up. It said, then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary. Okay, So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleanse the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones, all right, into an unclean place. You know, so that's fulfilled those 2,300 days. All right, spoken of in Daniel, the 8th chapter. You know, so let's go back to Daniel. You know, and I said we. You know, we come into a time of our cleansing. Okay, and it's through this word. You know, because obedience, you know, faith and obedience to this word is cleansing, you know, our temples, man. Okay, which let's go here to First Peter real quick. You know, we go back to Daniel. All right, let's go to First Peter 2 and and 5. It says, "Ye are lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Yahweh Shah Mashiach." And see what Yahweh Shah did, you know, living that perfect life and blameless and being, you know, that sacrifice. Okay, he made it, you know, very convenient for us to offer up spiritual sacrifices in this time, man. And this sound doctrine, you know, our conduct, you know, off camera, you know, those things are acceptable. Those are the things that are pleasing to Yahweh by Shem Shah, man. You know, our constant sacrifices, because we sacrifice time, resources, you know, certain opportunities. Okay, we can't, you know, indulge in because of the ministry and the Lord. That's all acceptable to the Lord. You know, brothers might be straight, you know, financially. They turn down overtime to get in the spirit or something, man. You know, that's an example of a sacrifice, man. You know, um, let's go here because you go to Ephesians 5:22. Okay, is it 22? Oh yeah, 26. So like, it's Ephesians 5:26. It said that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. You know, so our temple is being cleansed, you know, through this word. All right, and it's gonna be perfected or complete at the return of Yahweh Shah. All right, this is back in Daniel 8. All right, and 14 it says, "And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. And it came to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me an appearance of a man." So, you know, the angel going to break it down. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Uriah, which called and said, Gabriel, all right, or the angel Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, Understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end, all right, shall be the vision. Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in deep sleep, all right, on my face toward the ground, but he touched me and set me upright. And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be, all right, on the last end of the indignation, for at the time appointed the end shall be. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media, okay, and Persia, all right, the Medio-Persian Empire. It says, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, okay, which is Alexander, and the great horn, which was the Greek Empire, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Okay, so the kingdom of Greece is their rough goat, and their notable horn is Alexander. Okay, now that being broken, whereas four stood up, you know, he died. Okay, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not, all right, in his power, okay? Because they didn't wield the power, that he had. They pretty much fought amongst each other, all right? But eventually the Romans absorbed them, okay? Rome absorbed, the Greeks, all right? It was for them, pretty much put hell on Jake, Hellenized Jake, and all that was for the sake of prophecy, so we will have our people, there would be a no people, all that had to happen, but eventually even they, all right, the Greeks fell to the Rome, all right, and it says in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, going to Antiochus Epiphanes, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, because it was the Lord, that rose him up. Okay, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people, which we read all that. Okay, we're showing you that his power should not be his own, because what did Yahushua say to Pilate? All right, this is St. John chapter 19 and 9. It says that he went again to the judgment hall and said unto Yahushua, and this is Pilate, whence art thou? But Yahushua gave him no answer. Then saith Pilate unto him, speakest thou not unto me? Pilate offended, like, you ain't gonna speak, you ain't gonna answer me? Knowest thou not that I have the power to crucify and have the power to release thee? Yahushua answered, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it was given thee from above. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee have the greatest sin. Okay? So no, there's no power that men have, okay, that doesn't come from on high, and it's fulfill a particular purpose. And that same power that people brag about is what they do with that power gets them judged. We're going to get. It says, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his mind. All right, and it says, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Okay, so I want to get this little video real quick, just a little beginning. It said, by peace he shall destroy many, because when he first came in, he was on that peace tip, like he was, all right, going to be this peaceful, ruler, over Israel. So I'm going to play a few seconds because it's going to go right into it, because it kind of go off a little bit on particular things, but it's some good info, just ignore the Bible verses, we're just going into the work of Antiochus, okay, Epiphanes, man. All right, let's see. Okay, make sure I'm queued up.
Antiochus Epiphanes occupies a significant place in both world history and the Bible, serving as a precursor to the anticipated arrival of a figure known as the Antichrist. Emerging around 175 BC, Antiochus initially portrayed himself as a man of peace, captivating the public with his eloquence and flattery. His cunning approach led the people to accept him not only as the rightful king of Syria, but also of Israel, as prophesied in Daniel 11.
So, just wanted to show, all right, how he came, with peace, as the scriptures say, by peace shall he destroy many. He disarmed a lot of people as if he was just going to be this peaceful, king, all right, and people put their guards down, and he went on the slaughter. You see, but then it says what? He shall be broken without hand. All right, and you get that account, You know, because the Lord made that nigga suffer, man. You know, the Lord made that wicked nigga suffer. I think that's is it First Maccabees 9? Oh, let's see. Let me Second Maccabees. Let me see. Second Maccabees 9. Just read that account, you know, and we'll close out. This Second Maccabees 9 and 1, and it says about that time came Antiochus with dishonor out of the country of Persia, you know, because he called it ill. You know, he thought he was going to go spoil Persia. All right, he called that ill. Okay, for he had entered, and whenever this nigga would lose a war, he would always just come and do a slaughter on Israel. Okay, on Judea. You know, he'll go fight, and this is the you know the cowardly Edomite, man. You know, the only reason Esau so bold because he know he got that sword, man. Okay, well this nigga is very cowardly how he moves, man. Okay, it said for he had entered the city called Persepolis and went about to rob the temple and to hold the city, whereupon the multitude running to defend themselves with their weapons put them to flight. So he got put to flight in Persia, and so it happened. Antiochus being put to flight of the inhabitants returned with shame. Now when he came to Ecbatana, news was brought him what happened to Nicanor and Timotheus. Okay, was Nicanor whooped by an angel. Okay, and then swelling. No, he lost. I think he lost in the war. I think he lost a battle to the Maccabees. Salaki. I think that was Herodosius got whooped by the angel. You know, like Nicanor, he lost to Judas. You know, in battle. It said then swelling with anger, so he took a loss from the Persians. Okay, and then he get the news that Nicanor and them took a loss. All right, to the Maccabees. All right, so he's pissed. Then swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him fly. Therefore commanded he his chariot man to drive without ceasing and to dispatch the journey. The judgment of God now follow him, for he has spoken proudly in this sort. He will come to Jerusalem and make it a common burying place of Jews. So he's pissed. Okay. And you know, he like, look, drive straight to Jerusalem, man. You know, and he's speaking about what he's gonna do to the people when he get to Jerusalem. Okay, but he doesn't know, right, that the judgment of the Most High was following him, man. Just like Esau, he don't understand the judgment is following you, man. When Esau make his move, man, the Lord got this nigga, man. Okay, Esau, see, it's only so much that the Lord let these devils do, man. Okay, it says, but the Lord Almighty, the power of Israel, smote him with the incurable and invisible plague. For as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels, all right, of the bowels that was remediless, okay, which is no remedy, came upon him, and sore torments of the inner parts, and that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowel with many and strange torments, man. Goddamn freak, man. Okay, so now the Lord is starting to torture him, man. Howbeit, he nothing at all seized from his bragging, but still was filled with pride, breathing out fire and rage against the Jews and commanded to haste the journey. But it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, all right, carried violently, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pain. So now he done fell out the chariot, and his whole body is in pain. And thus he that a little aforethought he might command the waves of the sea, so proud was he beyond the condition of man. All right, and weigh the high mountains in the balance, was now cast on the ground and carried in the horse litter, showing forth unto all the manifest power of the Most High, man. So the Lord is doing them bad. Okay, the Lord doing them bad, man, and it's a slow, torturous kill, so that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man, And whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army. And the man that thought a little afore he could reach to the stars of heaven, don't this sound familiar? Okay, man, the Most High got Esau, man. Okay, and it's gonna be embarrassing, man. Okay, he said no man can endure to carry his intolerable stink. He therefore being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride. See, that pride started leaving. Most High breaking him down. See, that pride, what he was gonna do, all that talk ceased. Okay, because now he has pain in every part of his body, and he had this intolerable stink. Okay, and to come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of the Most High, his pain increasing every moment. His pain was increasing every moment. So it's like the Lord had a pain knob, and he's constantly turning it up on the devil, man. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living powers, man. And you Israelites that's playing all these games, man. You proud Israelites, man, that's playing all these games, man. The Lord know how to break their pride, man. That's why he pays to do a pride check every day, multiple times throughout the day. Okay? And it says, and when he himself could not abide his own smell, okay? He couldn't abide his own smell, but he couldn't escape it. You see, his men was able to, because his men just left him, man. Okay? They're like, nigga, this is too much, nigga. You see? But he can leave himself. All right. It says, and when he himself could not abide his own smell, he said these words, it is meet to be subject unto the Most High, and that a man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself as if he were a God. Okay, as if he were the Most High. And it's 4:14 right now, man. It just turned, just 4:14. The elect got the victory, man, over these devils, man. Okay, it said this wicked person vowed also unto the Lord, who now no more will have mercy upon him, saying thus, that the holy city to which he was going to haste to lay it even with the ground and to make it come and burying place, he was set at liberty. So now he's changing his whole tune. Okay, but this is what it means he was broken without hands. Okay, because he didn't die, he didn't die, all right, and come back, assassination. No, the Lord dealt with him. Okay, the Lord broke him down. He was broken without hand. Okay, he was tortured. Okay, to death. It says in this verse, Daniel 8:26. I'll read 25 again since we went over that. It says, and through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall he destroy many. He also shall stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Okay, now these devils are doing this today, causing craft to prosper, destroying many with peace. Like this gonna heal you, but then you die. You see, but this original, the qualify, when you use this, you gotta qualify, as speaking of Antiochus Epiphanes, because this is what it's speaking of him, the way he lived, his wickedness, all right, how he went out. Okay, it says verse 26, and the vision of the evening and morning which was told is true, wherefore showed the vision, for this shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. Afterward, I rose up and did the king's business and was astonished, all right, at the vision, all right, but none understood it. Okay, well, we understand it now, so that's the point. All right, Lord will you brothers, and you sisters edified, and once again give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kadosh, And double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.